All right, let's come to a nice comfortable seat in your chair. Just peek down at your feet and make sure that you're landing with your legs about hips distance apart and pressing evenly into the four corners of your feet. And let's give the shoulders a nice amount of rolling out. You might just kind of notice what the crunch level is today. And maybe we'll revisit this again a little later. Things usually start to change. We start to find a little more space and ease in our body. Let's roll forward a few times. Good, and then back again. And then allow your shoulder heads to press back, your shoulder blades to start to gently squeeze in towards each other and release towards your sit bones. You can take your hands on your thighs. Chin is parallel to the floor. So maybe even it feels like a slight little tuck of the chin. So the back of your neck is nice and long. Allow your eyelids to close here. Smooth, full, deep inhale, fill up. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. We're going to do that a few times. Smooth, full, deep inhale. See if you can sip in a little more air. And then ha, sigh the breath out, the day out. Anything that might be stressing you, let it go. And then just a few more times at your pace. If you want to hold at the top, sip in a little more air, you're welcome to do that. Make this feel like your own. And then after you've done that a few times, you're going to seal your lips. You're going to begin to inhale through your nose, and then you're also going to exhale through your nose. And you might be constricting the sides of your throat a little bit, so we start to create our Ujjayi breath. It's a heating breath, has a little sound to it. Gives us a little something to focus on. Some days Ujjayi can feel like too much. So if that's where you're at today, just keep the breath nice and easy. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. You're not trying to manipulate or control anything. You're just kind of letting it do its own thing. Let that sound of your breath just fill up your head. Might even sound a little bit like ocean waves rolling in and out. Anytime your attention wanders, once you notice that that's happened, you smile. You remind yourself to concentrate on that sound of your breath. You let everything go. You give yourself this permission, this space to be quiet, to be still, to check in. And of course, knowing that some days that's easier than others. So you do the best you can. So let's keep our eyes closed here, but let's start to hinge forward. You can drop your chin towards your chest and then slowly release your arms down. So we're just finding a gentle little forward fold. And you're going to notice that folding forward like this, we're using gravity to help traction out the spine. It might feel a little intense first thing. And then keep that rounding action. Start to roll on up. Hands come to your thighs. And then let's rock forward on our sit bones. So you're thinking a little cow stretch. And then exhale, rock back again. Chin drops towards chest. And then start to hinge forward. So we're kind of using a little cat-cow, but we're incorporating this forward fold. As you inhale, you roll on up, and at the top, shoulder heads press back, you're arching and your lumbar really nice. And then as you exhale, rounding in, belly button pulls to your spine, release down. Inhaling. Rolling up, finding your cow stretch. And then exhale, you're passing through your cat and then you're folding forward. You could almost think of this like as cat pose, moving into a child's pose. Inhaling, rolling up, arching, and then exhaling, rounding down. Inhale, come all the way up, find that cat stretch, and then let's just segue into, rather our cow stretch, let's segue into just our classic cat-cow. So keeping your torso upright this time, inhaling, finding that arch. Exhaling, rounding in, so we're really isolating this movement to our spine. We're starting to warm it up. We come into flexion and extension. You're paying attention to how your spine feels today. So again, we're at the beginning of class. Depending upon what you've done today so far, this might feel really easy. It might feel like you're waking everything up. So you're always just kind of noticing where you are. I always think it's really nice to just visualize the breath going to those places that are a little sticky. And you're probably discovering that it doesn't take much movement to physically shift how we're feeling, to mentally and energetically shift how we're feeling. Good, let's come up to a nice tall spine, and then let's segue that in to some Sufi rolls. You can think about sushi rolls as you are doing this, if that's something that you're into. These circles can be big, they can be small. And then very gently begin to switch directions. And notice all the little micro movements happening in your body as you shift in one direction then the other. Where are you feeling sensation? Really nice. Let's start to make these circles a little smaller so that shifting of weight from sit bone to sit bone becomes almost imperceptible. until you're back in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. You could do another little check-in with your legs. Just make sure that you're still a hip's distance apart. Good. Let's release the arms by our sides. As you inhale, take that left arm up and over, side bend to the right. Good. Exhale, release down. Inhale, right arm up and over, side bend to the left. And exhale, release down. And then just keep this super fluid. So nice little side bend flow here. Moving with your breath. It might start to feel a little bit like a moving meditation. Enjoying all that extension that you're getting as you reach to one side, then the other. Beautiful work. Let's do a couple more to each side, and then we'll come into the hold on each side as well. Good. So the next time you're leaning off to the right, hello, Tammy, welcome. Hang out there. Feel all of this lengthening through the left side of your waist. Maybe you could pretend that somebody is just gently pressing down on your left thigh, or that you have a sandbag over that thigh. So just giving you a little weight, a little gravity. Maybe you're gently rolling these right ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're gazing up underneath that top arm if it feels okay to do so. Good. Exhale, release that left arm down. And inhale, right arm comes up and over. And you just feel the experience on this side. How does it compare? Can you lengthen more through that right side of your waist to help you find that sensation? Can you press more into that right sit bone? So feel a little anchoring there. Maybe it means that you have to back out of the side bend a little bit. Finally, you might be twisting your left ribs up. You might be looking up underneath that top arm. Lovely. As you exhale, come back to center. Let's take our hands back on our thighs. And then your next exhale, gently start to drop your chest or your chin towards your chest. So we're finding that length in the back of the neck. I always get a lot of sensation doing this. You might be in the same boat. Those muscles work a lot, all of the muscles in our neck. They're doing a really big job relative to their size. Neck and shoulders are really common place to carry tension when we get stressed or tired. And so you're just gently easing those shoulders down, reminding them that they don't have to help out here. And again, you're just returning to that sound of your breath, whether you're keeping the breath nice and easy today, inhaling and exhaling through your nose, or whether you're using your Ujjayi breath. Inhale, gently lift your chin. Good. And then exhale, just turn your head to the right. So you're moving towards gazing over that right shoulder. It might not get all the way there. Just stop where you're feeling a little sensation. And then again, start to tuck your chin here. And that's going to intensify things that you're feeling on the left side of your neck. You only go as far as you need to. It can be the tiniest, like, little movement. As long as you're getting some sensation, you're doing it right. Unless you're Scott and then you're doing it wrong. Joking. Maybe you dangle your left fingertips towards the earth here. So that's adding some weight to the system. It might feel useful. It might feel stressful. If it's feeling stressful, I would say don't do it. So we're always kind of assessing what's going on in our bodies. We're always making little modifications. And even if it's not something that I give you, you always have the freedom to explore and get creative. All right, so let's bring left hand back to left thigh if you took that variation. Keep your chin tucked, but start to make that quarter turn back to the center. And you're just going to take a few breaths to get there, and you're going to hang out there again. Chin towards chest, lengthening the back of the neck, keeping those shoulders releasing down. Sending your breath to the back of your neck. I'm just trying to like find a little space, breathe some space into those muscles, some ease. And then as you inhale, start to lift your chin. Really nice. And then we exhale. We start to move towards bringing our gaze out over that left shoulder. Again, depending upon what's going on in this right side of your neck, we're all going to be at like different places along the path. So you're never forcing anything. You're always listening, and you're always acknowledging that side to side, things can feel really different. And then from here, start to drop that chin towards your shoulder, observing how the sensation that you're getting shifts a little bit. You start to feel it more intensely or in some different places. All right, keep that chin tucked. Take several breaths to roll back to center. Hanging out there. Is this feeling different? So this is the third time that we're visiting this chin to chest posture. Does it feel like you're finding more space in the back of the neck? Maybe you're not there today yet. Just noticing. All right, and then just inhale, lift your chin to parallel. Take an exhale here. And then we're going to inhale, lift your chin, lift your gaze. You don't have to go all the way back. Try to keep those shoulders down. Few breaths here, so kind of stretching out the front of the neck. You can think of this like as the antidote to, we spend a lot of time almost chin to chest looking at our phones or our computers. One more deep inhale here. Exhale, bring your chin parallel to the floor. Good. And then again, let's just give the shoulders a little roll out. And notice again, like what is the crunch meter? Has it improved a little bit? Of course, sometimes we want things to be crunchy, like crunchy sushi rolls, if you're into crunch. But in the shoulder situation, a little less might be better. All right. So from here, let's just go ahead and kind of like refresh our posture. We're going to come into a few of our half sun salutes just to feel a little more movement, connect things up with the breath. If you have blocks here, you are welcome to use those. So you can set them up on either side of your feet. They're just a nice little technique of bringing the floor a little closer. So we're in our nice mountain pose, Tadasana. You can release your arms by your sides. As you inhale, take the arms out and up. You could also reach forward and up if that feels better or works better in your space. As you exhale, you can swan dive in. Here, think a little back bend until that last minute when you fold all the way in. Inhale, this is where you might press your hands into those blocks. Hands could come to shins or thighs as well. Chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. Really nice, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back in, chin drops towards chest length and the back of the neck. As you inhale, you could reverse swan dive out. That's a little core. You could also just use your hands to help press yourself up. Find that extended mountain pose. And then as you exhale, you can bring palms to heart center. You can take the arms out. So lots of little ways to adjust these, to mix and match. This time, just for fun, I'm going to reach my hands forward and up as I inhale. You could exhale, stretch the arms forward and down. See how that feels. Eventually releasing chin to chest. Inhale, lengthen forward. Nice. Exhale, fold back in. Maybe it feels a little deeper. And then inhale again. You could play with different variations to come back to your Tadasana mountain pose. Maybe you're even gazing up, pressing palms overhead. And exhale, hands come to heart center. So let's release our arms by our sides. Let's add a little side bend here. So inhale, side bend to the right. Reach that left arm up and over. Nice. Exhale. And then inhale, right arm up and over. Exhale. Good. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And as you exhale, you fold into your Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold back in. And then inhaling, you're making your way back to your extended mountain pose. Let's do one more side bend here. So exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale up to center. And as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So 3 more. If you want to add any little things, you can. If you just want to keep it nice and classic, that's also fine. If you just prefer to sit quietly or do your cat-cow, that's also fine. So kind of do your own thing here. Mostly, let these feel really good. Find this sense of gracefulness and fluidity in your body as you connect movement with breath. Let your breath feel really rich and steady and vibrant. So it can be really nice to hold poses. We feel a lot of strength in that, but it can also be really nice to flow and move a little more. It can be very energizing, calming. There's absolutely no rush. When you're done with your third round, you can just pause in your Tadasana mountain pose, palms together, your heart, eyes closed. Kind of allowing everything to slow down, come back to center, observing how you feel. So flowing is also really nice. It creates a lot of heat in the body. You might feel your heart beating a little faster. Good. Gently blink your eyes open. Release your arms down by your sides. Inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, bring your wrists to shoulder height. Deep inhale here. Exhale, little twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, little twist to the left. Inhale to center. And then exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, stretch out. Make that wingspan a little wider. And then as you exhale, release hands down. So you can grab a piece of chair behind you. Left hand can come to your right thigh. It can be on your left thigh. They're both good places to be. Can you find a little cobra pose sensation in your upper body? So your sternum is gently lifting towards the ceiling. Pressing your shoulder heads back. You're feeling your shoulder blades gently squeeze in towards each other and then release down towards your sit bones. You might be moving towards bringing your gaze out over that right shoulder. And then if you'd like a little stretch in the neck here, let's first try with just dropping our chin towards our chest or towards that right shoulder. Good, maybe lift the chin and then maybe kind of lift the chin so you're dropping left ear towards left shoulder, and I just happened to notice that my left shoulder is trying to help out, so I'm going to drop it down again. Good, and then just bring that head to neutral, so you're just kind of gazing forward in the twist. Deep inhale here. Exhale, unwind, come back to center. Release the arms by your sides. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Really firming muscle to bone here so the arms are active. Exhale, take the arms out wide. Nice, deep inhale. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, come to center. And then on exhale, we twist to the left. Inhale. Stretch out as long as you can. And then exhale. Release the hands down. So you're finding a little leverage to help you wrap those right ribs to the left a little more. Notice if the shoulders are creeping up to your ears, can you soften them down? Maybe you're bringing your gaze in the direction of that left shoulder. It might not get all the way there. Bring your attention to how your breath feels. So the expansion that happens as you inhale, how everything contracts in as you exhale. And then maybe you start to drop your chin towards your chest for a little neck stretch. Of course, if that feels too much in conjunction with the twist, you just skip it. And then perhaps lift the chin. And then slightly dropping your right ear towards your right shoulder, which is amazingly intense. All right, so just bring your chin so it's parallel to the floor. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then we exhale, unwind, come to center. And we're going to move into some downward facing dogs. So you can use a second chair if you have a table in front of you, or you could set up against a wall. That would work. So I'm going to just get adjusted here. Chair, you can have either the seat facing towards you. I like to have the back of the chair because then I can kind of access both if I want to. If you're using a chair, just make sure that it's not going to get away from you. All right, so finding your sit bones, you can scoot forward in your chair. We still have our knees over our ankles here. Good. Let's release our arms by our sides. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. So feel all that length through the sides of your eyes. Spin your palms to face forward. Spread your fingers so the hands are really active. And then start to hinge forward. You might find you have to adjust a little bit. It's like I got a little longer doing that. So I'm going to just scoot my chair forward. And then pressing either into like the desk. If you're at a desk, that's really nice because you can actually spread your fingers. There's almost this rebounding action that happens as you press down. The forearms start to lift. You can even think of the forearms squeezing in towards each other. Your ears are in line with your biceps here, and you're just gently gazing down. So potentially sort of like making a triangle. So you're gazing just slightly above your big toes. And breath is smooth and steady. Can you put your brain into your sit bones? Can you anchor there more? Maybe that even makes you feel as you press there that you can extend through the sides of your body a little more. Let's bring our right hand to our thigh, then our left hand, so you're kind of hinging forward here, and then chin drops towards chest, and then start to straighten your arms so you're kind of rounding up. And then you can sit nice and tall again. You might get a little head rush, so downward dogs are like an inversion, kind of going upside down. All right, let's release the arms by our sides. One more time here. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Spin your palms to face forward so the hands are really active, the fingers are spreading, and you start to hinge forward. And again, as you press into the chair or the desk or the wall, it's almost like you're rebounding your forearms up a little bit. Inner arm wraps towards outer arm. Muscle firms to bone. Breath smooth and steady. It's a really strong, beautiful pose. Really great pose for finding length and space in the spine. Good. So you can slightly gaze forward. Bring your left hand to your thigh, then your right hand. So we're like in a little low cobra pose here. Start to drop your chin towards your chest and then press your belly button towards your spine. So you kind of do that cat shape. And then eventually straighten everything out. So finding your nice tall mountain pose, Tadasana. Good, breath or two here. And again, coming out of that, you might find you get a little head rush sensation. Okay, so we're gonna take this into kind of like a little down dog twist. So release your arms by your sides. Inhale, arms reach up. Spin the palms to face forward. Start to hinge forward, keep lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. And then just gaze forward between your hands. Let's take our right hand and move it towards our left hand. So it's kind of like, again, your nose is like lining up with your middle finger. Left hand to your hip, elbow squeezes in. And then as you exhale, you're gonna start to wrap your right ribs to the left. Keep anchoring into both sit bones. If you wanted to straighten that left elbow and reaching back, you can do that. It's a pretty deep twist here. If that left arm is extended, just bend the elbow again. Start to unravel here so you bring your torso to face down towards your mat. Stretch that left arm forward and then just take your arms shoulders distance apart again. A couple of breaths in classic down dog. And then gaze forward. Bring your left hand to the right so you're kind of lining up your middle finger with your nose. Right hand is going to come to your hip. Elbow is squeezing in. And then as you exhale, keep firming into that left palm even as you're wrapping those left ribs to the right. Deep twist. You're going to notice that it feels like hard to fill up on an inhale here. Do the best you can. If you wanted to just straighten that right elbow, so you're kind of just keeping that palm spinning inward, but stretching the fingertips back. Let's see how that feels in your body. Come out of this. Return that. So bend the left elbow again. The right elbow. And then start to just bring your torso to face down towards the mat. Reach your right hand forward. Take your arms shoulders distance apart. Find as much length here in your downward dog as you can. And then inhale, kind of bring your gaze forward, right hand to thigh, left hand to thigh. And then this time, let's just press up to our seat. Take a couple of breaths here. Just find a gazing point, especially if you got little sensation of dizziness there. Good. Let's give the shoulders a roll out here. And then So notice how they're feeling. Maybe some of the crunchiness has exited the body. And then we're going to come into some breath work. So we're going to work with our 3-part breath today, our Viloma I breath. So find a nice, comfortable seat. Just make sure that you're even on your sit bones. You're sitting nice and tall. Hands can be resting on your thighs. Allow your eyelids to close. Take a smooth, full, deep inhale through your nose. And a full, complete exhale through your nose. Completely empty out. Feel your lower belly pull in and up. And then you're going to inhale up to your lower belly, or your belly button. Pause there. So inhaling 1/3 of the way up. Inhale another 1/3 of the way up. So kind of just to the bottom of your floating ribs. Pausing. And then inhale all the way up underneath the collarbones. Feel that lift of your sternum. You're pausing. Slowly exhale the air out through your nose. A couple recovery breaths. On your next exhale, completely empty out. Little pause there at the bottom. Inhale 1/3 of the way up. Inhale another 1/3 of the way up. And inhale all the way up underneath your collarbones. Exhale the air out through your nose. Couple of recovery breaths, just taking your time, just observing how this breath feels for you. Some days it can be really challenging. It can get a little intense on those breath retentions. So if that's where you're at, just know that it's not uncommon. Always breathe when you need to. Let's take a deep inhale here together. Full, complete exhale. Completely empty, little pause. Inhale 1/3 of the way up. Pause the breath. Inhale another 1/3 of the way up. Pausing. Inhale all the way up underneath your collarbones. Exhale the air out through your nose. Couple recovery breaths. So I invite you to do 3 or 4 more rounds of that Viloma I breath just on your own. So you could even divide into 4 parts if that's something that you wanted to play with. You can play with the length of the retention. So you can do more or less. So just kind of intuit what your body and breath are telling you. Just play with that. And there's no rush if you're working with your Viloma I. Eventually, we're all going to make our way into a final quiet resting pose. Probably you're going to stay exactly where you are, but the feeling of the pose is going to be a little different. That being said, you're always welcome to take a forward fold. You're always welcome to come into classic Shavasana on the floor. Invite your brain and body to assimilate the work that we've done together this past hour, put it all together. Give yourself permission to be still and quiet and soak up these final moments of our time together. Shavasana. Masato masatgamaya. Tamaso ma joytigamaya. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. And take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. And then bring some gentle movement back to your body, whatever that looks like. Wiggle, stretch. As you're ready, just land with your hands in a pile on top of your heart. Send yourself, your body, love and gratitude. Send each other love and gratitude. Promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this good feeling with you into the rest of the day ahead. And finally, just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today, everybody. Great to see you. Thank you.